Hi everyone, welcome back to Wrestling Fun with Father and Son. I'm Father Matt and this is Son.
Hi.
On AEW this week, Santana Ortiz gave the tag division an express message. Jake Hager gave Dustin Reynolds a shattered elbow, and the first AEW Tag Team Champions were crowned. This is the explosive Elite Review. AEW's Wednesday Night Dynamite, 30th 10th 2019. Started off with a video from last week with the Moxley, Pac, Omega sort of storyline as it is. They said that there's going to be a match now between Hangman Page and Pac, part 2. That's going to happen at Full Gear on the 9th of November. Also, they said now that Moxley and Omega is going to be an unsanctioned match. There seems to be that Moxley is unsanctionable because he is a very erratic, as we say, hardcore. That was a cool video. It was really nice to see that afterwards.
It said lights out.
Yeah, lights out. That's well. I'm guessing that there's going to be some hardcore elements to this match, just like the Joey Janela match, just like the Omega Joey Janela match. They're going to have this sort of hardcore sort of thing. It's said to be a lights out match, and it won't count against the win-loss record. So we'll have to wait to see that. I'm quite excited. That filters in later on to the show, but we'll get to that. Sammy Guevara started off against Adam Hangman Page.
Sammy didn't have like the thing on his head.
No. He didn't have the inner circle with him either. He came out one-on-one with Page, and it was a standard one-on-one match. Adam Page got the win with a clothesline and then a roll-up, which was quite interesting to see. No real finisher there, just sort of a clothesline roll-up, which was quite nice to see, not a high-flying spot or something to end the match. Page then got on and did a promo about Pac, about the match at Full Gear. Then we had a women's match, Shana versus Akuru Shida. Standard women's match. Like I said, I think the women's division's missing something. Akuru got the win. You know, it was what it was. Next we had the Rock and Roll Express being introduced. They were going to be the ones to present the AEW Tag Team Championship belts to the winners of the main event. Obviously we had that tournament going on, SCU versus Lucha Brothers in the main event for the Tag Team Championships, but that didn't sort of go to plan as such because two guys decided to crash the party. It was who?
Santana Ortiz.
That's it, Santana and Ortiz with a sock, which they said could have been a bar of soap or some coins, a bit of a nasty weapon that. They sort of took them out with that, and they threw one half of the Rock and Roll Express through the stage, only for the Young Bucks to come out and make the save, and that was kind of how they ended that. So taking out the Rock and Roll Express, so later on they didn't present the titles to the winners. Let me just say that. Next we had a 6-man tag. Alex Reynolds, John Silver and QT Marshall versus the Best Friends with Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy didn't do much in this match. Obviously his gimmick is he's a little bit sort of reluctant. He has his hands in his pockets. He doesn't really do a lot. They got introduced by Rick and Morty. Obviously the whole show was sort of sponsored by Rick and Morty because Rick and Morty's coming back for 5 episodes on Adult Swim. So they sort of had masks in the crowd, and they did an intro with the character voices, introducing Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. The crowd were absolutely lapping up Orange Cassidy.
And the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, they had wigs.
Yep, they had wigs on. They dressed up like Rick and Morty as well. The crowd were lapping up Orange Cassidy. All he was doing was slowly sort of tapping the calf of an opponent, and the crowd were absolutely going mental for this gimmick. I need to see more of the gimmick before I can make my mind up. I'm not really a fan too much of this gimmick, but we've got to see more. I can't really say I hate it completely until I see more of him in the match. But it was actually Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends who got the win. And like I say, we'll have to see what happens with Orange Cassidy going forward. I'd like to see more of what that guy can do in the ring. And next we had Jericho coming out to do a contract signing with Cody Rhodes. For the first half of the show, we saw Cody Rhodes arrive in a private jet. Tony Schiavone was accompanying him in a limousine back to the arena. Cody comes out with Jericho. They do a contract signing. Jericho, well, basically, first of all, Cody signed it, no problems. Threw it over to Jericho. I knew Jericho wasn't going to sign it straight away without saying something because he's Jericho. He has to say something. He did the sort of sit down. He sort of then teased that he was going to have a bit of a brawl by standing up really quickly, Cody then stood up really quickly as well. He said, "No, we're not going to do that. This match is too important. It's the biggest match of your career, and we're not going to have like a table power bomb or a brawl like other contract signings," which is quite nice to say. I like to see contract signings done properly. I really do. I'm not really a big fan of this big brawling aspect of them. I think it's a bit, it tarnishes it a little bit. But they did make it sort of have a big match feel. Jericho signed the contract. He said, "Right, let's do this properly. I'll handshake you and we'll see you on the 9th of November. Did the handshake. Jericho goes to walk away. Cody keeps hold of his hand, pulls him to the sort of close, says something to him, only for Jericho to say, you ought to be worried about what's happening to your other friends and don't wait here too long. Only for send Sammy Guevara to appear on the Titantron behind him to say Jake Hager was beating up who?
Dustin Rhodes.
That's it, Dustin Rhodes. I said it. I said Dustin Reynolds in the intro, Kai, but I think he goes by either name. So anyway, yep, Dustin Rhodes is being attacked by Jake Hager. He slams his head into the limousine. Then he puts his arm into the door, slams the door. Cody and MJF and everyone else arrives, only for Jericho to light up a cigar, get in a car, and then they've departed from the arena. So yeah, it was quite a nice little contract sign, a little bit more heightenedness to the match. I think that Jake Hager's going to have a match against Dustin Rhodes in the future. We'll have to see if that's at Full Gear. They did say he'd probably broken his arm, but we'll see what happens. Next we had another 6-man tag. Kip Sabian and Angelico and Jack Evans versus Kenny Omega and Young Bucks. And my other son informed me that Kenny Omega was dressed up as Sans from Undertale. Never heard of it, didn't know anything about it, but oh well. Omega and the Young Bucks were jumped at the beginning to the match. I put it as a high-flying, fast-paced match.
And we haven't seen Kip Sabian for a long time.
No, we haven't. And I think it was Kenny Omega who got the win with the One-Winged Angel. Only for then the Young Bucks to sort of be at the ringside, sort of slapping everyone's high-fiving and slapping hands and everything like that. Got to 2 people dressed up in Rick and Morty masks with Young Bucks, only for them to reveal that they were
Santana Ortiz.
Yep, Santana Ortiz. They attacked the Young Bucks and then they fled through the crowd again. Them two them four, should I say, have got a match at Full Gear, and that's going to be a cool match. Next we had the Librarians come out. It was Pete Avalon with Lever Bates. He did a bit of a promo, doing his usual stick of taking the mick out of the crowd, only for then John Moxley to arrive through the crowd, do a paradigm shift to Pete Avalon, grab the mic, saying about the unsanctioned match and that he's unsanctionable and out of control, and that we'll see violence like we've never seen before. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think blood will flow, and I think it's going to be an interesting match. About how far they're really going to go, we'll have to see. I couldn't think that they're going to go so far that it's going to be the worst thing we've ever seen. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think they're just going to have a run-of-the-mill hardcore match, and I think there'll be a bit of blood in that match, but we'll have to see. And then finally we get to the main event, SCU versus the Lucha Brothers for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Private Party were ringside watching on, and the Dark Order were backstage watching on. Like I say, this was a cool match. Obviously Lucha Brothers are high flying. They did a lot of flip flopping and all that. Phoenix, who put Frankie Kazarian through the table, I think that was like no spot. But at the end, it was a roll up from SCU that got the win. So SCU are now the first AEW Tag Team Champions. I would have preferred to go with the cliche stereotype Lucha Brothers, but oh well. We'll have to see. The Lucha Brothers will get them eventually. It's nice to give up and coming team people we don't really know. Obviously, we know Frankie Kazarian from Impact. Scorpio Sky, I wasn't really too informed about until basically AEW. So it's nice to see them to have the belts as a start. It's nice to see that they're going to push other teams. And we'll have to see what happens next week. Next week's AEW will be the last one before Full Gear, so there'll be a few more bits fleshed out for the pay-per-view. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So yep, that is our AEW review. Again, they're trundling along really nicely. They're being consistent. They're putting in the work. The matches are never boring. I don't think they're boring. The women's division, yes, it needs a little bit of work, but oh well. we'll have to see what happens going forward with that division. Hopefully they can get. I think they need a big name. I do. I think they need somebody to bring a bit of credibility to it and have a big name. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, like I say, they've been consistent. It's always entertaining and never dull, I don't think. So yeah. Like this video, please like, comment and subscribe. The next video will be the Out of the Blue SmackDown review. Oh no, it's not. Well, it isn't in. Well, I'll quickly interject. Tonight, as we're recording this Thursday, is Crown Jewel. So we've got Crown Jewel tonight. We've got to do reactions, and obviously there's got to be Out of the Blue SmackDown review. I'm thinking about amalgamating the two together and having one big bumper episode of Out of the Blue SmackDown review, or having our predictions, then the Out of the Blue SmackDown review. So I think we'll do that instead of having so many videos. It will be a little bit of a longer video, so you have to bear with us with it, but we will get through all the points. We'll try not make it as super long, but anyway. So yeah, we'll leave it there. So I'll say goodbye, and say goodbye, Kai.
Bye.
Goodbye.